It feels like it belongs to someone else. That shield represents a lot of things to a lot of people.
So, Kari, congratulations. You have such a huge body of work in both American and Canadian projects. And here you are entering this completely international arena with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. What's it like? I mean, it's not as though you haven't earned it.
Well, thank you for that. Yes, I do feel like I've been working and striving hard to bust through the ceilings that I had to bust through to get to where I'm sitting now. But I'm super thankful for all of the different projects that I've been able to do because, at the end of the day, everything goes into your, box of tricks and your skill set. And so I've been really fortunate to do a really extremely varied body of work, which I found came together beautifully on this project, which was obviously very demanding for all kinds of reasons. But I think I brought also some of the things that were a bit new and fresh to them. They also have sort of told a similar story time and again, and we were able to, through combination of the very fact that our story was so different for the MCU of it because of the, a Black man contemplating picking up the shield, opened the doors to so many different ideas and thoughts. And so that in and of itself was going to sort of change the thing. But then I hope I brought something to the party, which was not just the female lens, but also perhaps a lens just of diversity that they hadn't had before. So it's been great.
We need someone to inspire us again.
Honestly, there is so much complexity, so much history and tradition, and this freshness that you speak about in terms of the movements that it covers, the left versus the right, Black Lives Matter. And given all the details of the Marvel Universe, I'm pretty sure you must have had a big wall graph at home to keep track.
Yeah, well, you can't keep it all in your head. You just can't. And so we had our executive, Zoe Nagelhood, who is an extraordinary woman, young woman. She had it all in her head. She was like my computer chip. And I kept, so she would be able to, she had all of, because you can't possibly absorb unless you've lived it forever. You can't absorb all the minutia of the worlds that and also to find the Easter eggs. And she would, we look for these opportunities, Easter egg opportunities, and she'd go, oh, there's a, and she would come up with some little thing that we, could find to put in. So yes, I had not only graphs, I had papers, and at the end of the day, you know what? It's kind of organic. You still, as much as you look to the MCU, worlds and constructs, you use them more as a resource than as we never duplicated a character or in a documentary sense. You take the DNA of whatever that is, and then you reinterpret it and put it to the drama that you're telling. And you have the freedom to do that, which is really important.
The world's more complicated now.
We're never gonna stop.
We see the softer sides of the men, and we see the sturdiness and drive of the women. It's just, I just love it. And I can't say that I was a huge superhero fan up until maybe 10 years ago, and this just takes it to another level in my mind.
Well, what we were, going for was a very grounded approach, particularly after Endgame, because this is the sequel to Endgame. This wanted to be, the absolute opposite, so that it's a very grounded world and as a result, a very grounded discussion circling this shield. I think that at the real core was we had 6 hours. And so any of the movies, you've only got, 2 hours. And that means you're going to gallop through your story. And you can't really get to know the characters terribly well because you just don't have the real estate for it. This was wonderful for both Sebastian and Anthony as well, because although they played these characters for a very long time, we hadn't been able to explore them in the way they were able to explore them in this project. So everybody was having a really terrific new experience of finding out more and playing more with the characters and where they could go and what they could do and how we were, very invested in them.
Oh.
And so it was really very special to be part of that very new process for Marvel.
This world is ours. There's no going back.
It doesn't have to be a war.
It already is.
By now, everybody knows because it's been in the media. And I couldn't have been more excited, and so many people around with me. And in one way of thinking, this will bring in an entire different audience to the series.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing. And the other thing, she brings that uniqueness that your series is about. So that was great. As executive producer, did you have any input into having her there? Was she your idea?
No, she wasn't my idea. Kevin Feige. I think it was his idea. And he floated it amongst all of us, and we were just, blown away with it. Kevin is, he's like a ginormous brain, and he's got it all always percolating and ideas going and stuff. So when he called us and said, "Hey, what do you think?" We just, flipped. She just had a ball figuring this out and just how to nuance the introduction of this character. But I was absolutely thrilled to be able to introduce her.
We can't lose this fight. If we do this, we're gonna do it our own way.
I also want to speak about the political angles that we find in the film a bit more. The term supremacism is used, not any specific supremacism, but that is the tone and métier of the world these days in different areas. And I think it was breathtaking how timely it is.
It is. We were struck. Obviously we couldn't plan that, but by the conversation we were having initially, which around a Black man picking up the shield, by definition, we were going to be really scratching the surface of a very relevant topic. The Black Lives Matter, this conversation has been going on for decades. So, and still unsolved. It hasn't, I don't think we've moved the needle enough, So what I hope for this show is that we do move the needle, and that we look at tolerance and we understand, we really take this conversation to another level through Sam's hesitancy and how he's interpreting what this is going to mean for him and for his community. I think the supremacy words and the nature of where we were going, and the Zemo and how he was sort of re-explaining his position on supremacy, allowed us to really dig into that a little bit. But we could not have possibly predicted how timely it was going to be. And so that was just the universe speaking.
So we're partners, co-workers, not necessarily a team. No. We look damn good, though.